the sensitive nature of this case, I would encourage anyone that has triggers towards sexual assault to not watch this video. With that being said, I am now going to talk about the case of Ana Kriegel. Ana Kriegel was born in 2004 in Russia and was raised in an orphanage for 2 years until 2006, where she was adopted by Geraldine and Patrick Kriegel. From there, she came to live in Ireland in Kildare. Anna was said to be a happy girl during most of her time in primary school, and her parents would speak about how she used to horse ride and swim as a child. Other family members would talk about how she was such a fun character and boisterous. However, she did suffer from health and emotional issues such as sight and hearing problems, and also bullying, both online and in person, most of which had a sexual undertone. A member of staff from her school once contacted Anna's parents in relation to Anna confiding that she felt suicidal, and also one instance of self-harm. Therefore, Anna's parents tried to get Anna counselling sessions, and up until her death, Anna was attending regular counselling sessions at the time. On the day of the 14th of May 2018, Anna had a normal day at school, followed by counselling, and then returned home before Boy B called to the house at 5 p.m, as witnessed by her father, Patrick. Anna was supposed to study that evening for exams she had the following week, and her father reminded her of this. Patrick, Anna's father, recalls how it was unusual to see Boy B call to the house, as nobody ever really called for Anna. She was quoted as being a loner with very little friends and spent most of her times with her cousins. However, Patrick recalled how happy she was and that she had a big smile on her face when Boy B was at the door. Patrick goes on to recall how he heard her whispering at the door to Boy B before she grabbed her black hoodie and left. She told her father she wouldn't be long, and Mr. Kriegel said he believed she meant it, but he forgot to ask where she was going. However, when Anna's mother Geraldine found this out, she was immediately concerned. She described her daughter as, quote, very immature, a child on the inside, innocent. She said, quote, on the outside she looked older and liked to wear makeup, but inside she was far younger than her years. Anna's mother, Geraldine, was so concerned that she texted her daughter telling her to come home immediately and demanding she respond or she would call the Gardaí. She continued, quote, I was in between feeling like a paranoid mother, overprotective, and then being terrified. Anna was last seen at 5:30 p.m. in St. Catherine's Park, and Anna's mother would never received any contact back from Anna on that day. 3 days later, on the 17th of May 2018, at an abandoned farmhouse, Anna's body was found by Gardaí. At the scene, her clothing and pieces of her iPhone were scattered around the room. Nearby was a cement block and a large stick, both of which were blood-stained. There was also blood staining on the walls and on the carpeted floor. The blood had clearly come from the many wounds on the girl's body. At the time, Dr. Mary Cassidy would spend 40 minutes alone speaking on the 50 injuries on Anna's body of lacerations and bruises. It is reported Anna was found with her clothes strewn throughout the house, and she was all but naked except for a pair of socks. A post-mortem exam found she suffered head and neck injuries, and there had been attempted penetration of her vagina, although Dr. Mary Cassidy at the time couldn't pinpoint what had been used to do this penetration. She was also found with a ligature wrapped around her neck. On the basis of the pathology and forensic evidence, the Gardaí suspected Anna had been beaten to the ground with a heavy stick shortly after entering the room, then hit 4 times with a heavy object such as a concrete block. Next, she was pulled towards the window where there was more light. It was likely here she was sexually assaulted. Her false nails were scattered around the room, indicating she had fought her attacker fiercely. On further investigation, semen staining on a top found at the scene where Anna's body was discovered contained the DNA of another boy in the story, called Boy A. Because of their ages at the time, both being 13, both Boy A and Boy B were described as such to keep their anonymity. Boy B, who was the boy at the door speaking to Anna on the day of the murder, was there to, according to his story, to bring her to a park to boy A, knowing that Anna had a romantic interest in boy A. According to boy B's original story, he had not intended to bring any harm to Anna or had known the intentions of boy A, but had simply brought Anna to meet boy A as boy A was going to, quote, let her down gently, that he had no romantic interest in her. However, both boys' stories would be inconsistent with the evidence and also the CCTV gathered. The Gardaí gathered what they considered overwhelming evidence against boy A, as there was a forensic evidence linking him to the scene of the crime and to Anna's body, his phone internet searches for abandoned places in Lucan, and circumstantial evidence such as injuries he presented with on May the 14th consistent with a struggle, but what boy A claimed was the result of a random assault by two men in the park. Anna's blood would be found on his boots and on a backpack, a homemade zombie mask he had made to carry out the attack, knee pads and gloves Gardaí found in a wardrobe in his bedroom, and the blood spatter pattern on his boots showed, according to forensic scientist John Hode, that he either assaulted Anna or was in close proximity to her when she was assaulted. Boy B was the boy who eventually admitted to police about bringing Anna to see boy A on the day of the murder, but claimed he had left before boy A had carried out the attack, without intervening or any interference. In June of 2019, both boys were convicted by a Central Criminal Court jury of murdering Anna at the derelict house in Lucan in May 28. Both boys were only 13 at the time of the murder. Boy A was also convicted of Anna's aggravated sexual assault in a manner that involved serious violence. He was sentenced to life imprisonment with a review after 12 years and 8 years imprisonment for aggravated sexual assault. No appeal has been lodged on boy A's behalf. However, boy B, who was sentenced to 15 years detention to be reviewed after 8 years, tried to appeal his conviction in 2022. Boy B's lawyers sought to introduce reports written by eminent psychologists who were critical of an expert called by boy B's trial lawyers, and who said that boy B was subjected to manipulation and pressure by Gardaí during interviews. However, after some time and some consultation with his lawyers, he withdrew this appeal, and this appeal was due to take place in October 2022, but has now been closed. Unfortunately, as of 2022, Anna's father, Patrick, has also passed away, with Geraldine, Anna's mother, speaking of how Patrick simply couldn't bear the pain of losing their daughter. Given the horrific nature of this crime and the loss of such a beautiful person, I believe in this case justice has been served accordingly, and hope her parents found some comfort in that.
Has been served for Anna. The judge has decided on the sentence, and that duty lies with him alone. For our part, we can only say that forever is not long enough. Please remember Anna and